Well, hidey ho, my peeps. I'm coming to you with my vegetable mushroom meat alternative. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, I've got 1.5 pounds of mushrooms. You can use any kind. Grant picked these up at Costco. They're just a white mushroom. I have 3 cups of walnuts. I have about 8 ounces of carrots. In here I have my vegetables, which is 1/2 of a chopped onion, you can see down in there. A chopped up bell pepper, I happen to use an orange one. I've put 10 cloves of garlic because I love garlic, but you may want to back off on the garlic, however much you think you're going to want. That round, red, scary looking thing there is a cooked beet. To the back we have 4 eggs, and, well, that's an empty bowl. This is 2 cups of oat flour, which I make myself by just chopping up, or rather processing in my Vitamix, just regular rolled oats until they have a flour consistency. This is about 3.5 cups of breadcrumbs. These aren't panko, you could certainly use those. These are just regular breadcrumbs. Over here, I was a little messy. I have 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce and 2 tablespoons of this dark mushroom soy sauce. Here's this. You don't have to use that. You can use any soy sauce you want, but I love the flavor of this stuff. It's just a wonderful, rich flavor. Okay, so what we're going to do first is put our walnuts and our carrots into my food processor, and we're going to chop those up until they have a kind of a diced consistency. Okay, I'm not going to film the part where I actually use the food processor because it makes an ungodly sound. So anyhow, so here you go. This is kind of crumbly, diced up consistency. That's about perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our mushrooms to this mixture. I'll probably put about half in, get them ground down to a crumble like this, and then I'll add the rest. So I'll come back when that's done. Well, unfortunately for me, my food processor container is not quite big enough for all of this. So I've pulled some out here, and I still have mushrooms to add. So I'm going to do this in 2 batches. I want you to see this consistency though. This is just a crumble. It's way too coarse for what I want. I want it more of a paste, or bordering on a paste. So I'll go ahead and process this up and show you what that looks like. Alrighty, here you can see that the consistency is much more paste-like. It's not sticking together real well because I haven't added any of the wet ingredients, but it's much less coarse than, you know, what we've got going over here. So this is about right. Now I'm going to take this out, I'm going to transfer it to a larger bowl, and I'm going to do the same process with my remaining mushrooms and vegetables. Okay, so batch number 2 is at a nice nearly paste consistency. Now I'm going to add the wet ingredients. In goes my soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce. In go my, I'm sorry, there's 3 eggs in here, not 4. I said 4, they're actually 3. But you'll see that down in the description. I'm adding my spices as well. And the amounts of spices you will see in the recipe at the bottom. And I'm also going to add the rest of the vegetables. And these vegetables came from the freezer, so they're real wet, and they'll add a nice, you know, a nice wetness to this mixture. So I'm going to pulse all that stuff up now. Okay, so we're done mixing all the wet ingredients into this second batch here, and you can see how wet the mixture is. It really makes a difference when you add those wet ingredients. But we are coming to the rescue with some oat flour and breadcrumbs. Also, we're going to be mixing this wet mixture into our drier mix that we did with the first batch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by hand with a spatula, come back and show you the results. Alrighty, so all the vegetables, the eggs, the spices, everything's been incorporated. It has a loose consistency, like a batter, like a cake batter sort of. I have folded everything in together. Now, just going to dump my oat flour in, my 2 cups of oat flour, and I'm going to start to fold that in, kind of mix it up with the vegetables that I have. And again, I'm going to do this, put down the camera, I'm going to do this two-handed and then come back and show you. Okay, so you can see that the oat flour gave it a much more ground beef consistency, although it's still a little bit loose. You can use it like this, but I prefer to put in my my breadcrumbs as well to give it a nice firm consistency. So I'm going to dump those in, about 3.5 cups. I can add more if I think that I need it. I will incorporate that and then show you what it looks like. And this, my peeps, is the finished product. All of the dry ingredients have been incorporated in. It has a very meaty look. It smells wonderful. I'm just going to show you here. It holds together really well. You can make patties like so. You can make meatballs. You can do it as a crumble. I am going to experiment with a couple different cooking methods for you. The first thing I'm going to do is make a patty out of this and cook it in my air fryer. So I'll show you that setup. All right, there's our patty. Look how nicely it hangs together. It doesn't fall apart. It's just really, really a pretty alternative to ground beef, and not all of them are pretty like this, the ones that I've seen online, I mean, you know, on YouTube. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the air fryer, and I'm going to set it, just turn it on, hit start, and let it go. It preset is 400 degrees for 20 minutes. I'm not going to let it go 20 minutes. Once it actually starts cooking, when it gets out of preheat, I'm going to check it in about 5 minutes. So at the 15-minute mark, and see how we're doing. Okay, what we have here is a veggie patty after 5 minutes in the air fryer. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Now, you can see there's a little mouse bite out of it there. I took a little bit out to see if it was cooked all the way through and what the consistency was on the inside. And it's almost there. Just a little bit soft on the inside. Now I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to brush oil on the top of this thing and then put it back in the air fryer for about 3 minutes and see if that starts to brown the top of this patty. I don't know if it will brown it. I've never tried this, so it's an experiment. Let's see what happens. Well, okie dokie. This is, after 8 minutes in the air fryer, the last 3 minutes with some olive oil, about a teaspoon drizzled on the top of this. Now we're going to give this a try. Take a look at the inside. See what we're dealing with here. So there you go. It looks nice and meaty. And I'm gonna take a bite. Okay, that's not mealy or too wet on the inside. a little bit moist, but not so that it has a pasty consistency or anything. The consistency is good. Now, I put hot chili oil in this. You don't have to put chili oil, or you could put chili powder if you wanted, or chili flakes, or no chili at all. Adjust the seasonings to, to the level that you like. I think the oil, let's see what the backside looks like. This was the top up for the last 3 minutes. Backside, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say that this top side did brown with a little bit of olive oil in it. Okay, and now we're going to try something else. We're going to go ahead and fry up a patty in a skillet on the stove. Okay, I've got some nice hot olive oil in this pan. I'm not sure it's quite hot enough, but we're going to go ahead and put this in anyhow and see. Yeah, I got some sizzle. That's what you want. Okay, now I'm just going to fry this like you would any other patty. I've got it on a medium-high heat, and I will fry it for a while on one side, keep checking the bottom so that I don't get any burned places. Then I'm going to flip it over, and then I will come back and tell you how long it took to cook and if I had any problems. It took about 2 minutes to get the first side to this degree of brownness. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and cook this at this sort of medium-high, maybe even high heat for another minute or two. Then I'm going to turn it all the way down, and I'm going to cover the whole thing and cook for internal doneness. So we won't be going for the brown on the outside. We'll be going for cooking it through on the inside. Okay, and we're out of the skillet. I cooked it for 2 minutes on each side to brown, and then another 10 minutes total, flipping halfway through, in order to cook the inside. Now, I maybe could have gone a little bit longer, but I don't think so. This is tender on the inside, but it's not gummy. I've already taken a bite. It's quite good. The deal, let me take another bite. God, that's good. Okay. The deal with cooking in a skillet is that you must allow the mixture to dry out on the inside. So it's not enough just to let it brown. It also has to cook on a very low heat for a while. This thing I let cook for 10 minutes because you want to steam out as much water out of the mixture as you can. Now, this mixture being very dry steams out pretty quick, so it's not that big of a deal. But if your mixture is wetter, it's going to take you longer to cook it to this consistency. But you can even see how much like real ground beef this appears. And it tastes wonderful. Does it taste like ground beef? Not exactly, but it has all the same flavorings, same kind of spices and stuff. So as an alternative, like for a veggie patty, it's as good as anything I've purchased at a store. So give this a try, all y'all, and see what you think. So I'm not going to cook all this tonight. This is way more than I can handle for one night, but I can freeze it. So I'm going to put half of it in freezer bags, stick it in the freezer, and the rest of it I'm probably going to make up into patties. I really, really like these patties, and I think the way I'll do it is I will air fry them first, then take the air fried patties and put them in the skillet with a little bit of olive oil to brown the outside. So I'm gonna flip this back around. Okay, so I hope that was clear enough. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, the one thing you have to be careful of is making sure that you cook it enough to cook out the water. So that's when you turn it all the way down to the lowest setting and you just let it sit there and evaporate for, 10 minutes or whenever whenever you, you know, when you cut into it, it hangs together and still a little bit moist, but not gummy at all. So, I'll come back to you with another cooking video soon. There's a couple things I've been making. Sugar-free chocolate chip cookies and a really fibery little muffin that you can eat one or two of with a cup of tea in the morning for breakfast. So those videos are coming, and I hope you guys are having a great day, night, morning, whatever, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.